Hey everybody, I'm going to read this book, David's Father by Robert Munsch and Michael Monchenko. Let's get started. David's Father. To Julie. Julie was skipping home from school. She came to a large moving van. A man came out carrying a spoon, only it was as big as a shovel. Another man came out carrying a fork, only it was as big as a pitchfork. A third man came out carrying a knife, only it was as big as a flagpole. Yikes, said Julie. I don't want to get to know these people at all. She ran all the way home and hid under her bed until dinner time. The next day, Julie was skipping home from school again. A boy was standing where the moving van had been. He said, "Hi, my name's David. Would you like to come and play?" Julie looked at him very carefully. He seemed to be a regular sort of boy, so she stayed to play. At 5 o'clock, from far off down the street, someone called, "Julie, come and eat." "That's my mother," said Julie. Then someone called, "David." "That's my father," said David. Julie jumped up in the air, ran around in a circle 3 times, ran home, and locked herself in her room till it was time for breakfast the next morning. The next day, Julie was skipping home, and she saw David again. He said, "Hi, Julie, do you want to come and play?" Julie looked at him very, very carefully. He seemed to be a regular boy, so she stayed and played. When it was 5 o'clock, David said, "Julie, please stay for dinner." But Julie remembered the big knife and the big fork and the big spoon. "Well, I don't know," said Julie. "Maybe it's a bad idea. I think maybe no. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye." "Well," said David, "we're having cheeseburgers, chocolate milkshakes, and a salad." "Oh," said Julie, "I love cheeseburgers. I'll stay. So they went into the kitchen. There was a small table with cheeseburgers, milkshakes, and salads. On the other side of the room, there was an enormous table. On it was a spoon as big as a shovel, a fork as big as a pitchfork, and a knife as big as a flagpole. "David," whispered Julie, "who sits there?" "Oh," said David, "that's where my father sits. You can hear him coming now." David's father sounded like this. Broom, broom, broom. He opened the door. David's father was a giant. On his table, there were 26 snails, 3 fried octopus, and 16 bricks covered with chocolate sauce. Ugh, I would not eat any of those things. David and Julie ate their cheeseburgers, and the father ate the snails. David and Julie drank their milkshakes, and the father ate the fried octopus. Julie and David ate their salads, and the father ate his chocolate-covered bricks. David's father asked Julie if she would like a snail. Julie said no. David's father asked Julie if she would like an octopus. Julie said no. David's father asked Julie if she would like a delicious chocolate-covered brick. Julie said, "No, but please, may I have another milkshake?" So David's father made her another milkshake. When they were done, Julie said very softly, so the father couldn't hear, "David, you don't look much like your father." "Well, I'm adopted," said David. "Oh," said Julie. "Well, do you like your father?" "He's great," said David. "Come for a walk and see." So they walked down the street. Julie and David skipped, and the father went, boom, boom, boom. They came to a road, and they could not get across. The cars would not stop for David. The cars would not stop for Julie. The father walked into the middle of the road, looked at the cars, and yelled, "Please stop." The cars all jumped up into the air, ran around in a circle 3 times, and went back up the street so fast they forgot their tires. Julie and David crossed the street and went into a store. The man who ran the store did not like serving kids. They waited 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Then David's father came in. He looked at the storekeeper and said, "These kids are ready to order." The man jumped up in the air, ran around the store 3 times, and gave David and Julie 3 boxes of ice cream, 11 bags of potato chips, 19 candies, all for free. Julie and David walked down the street and went around a bend. There were 6 big kids from grade 8 standing in the middle of the sidewalk. They looked at David, they looked at Julie, and they looked at the food. Then one big kid reached down and grabbed a box of ice cream. David's father came round the bend. He looked at the big kids and yelled, "That ice cream is not available." They jumped right out of their shirts, they jumped right out of their pants, and they ran down the street in their underwear. Julie ran after them, but she slipped and scraped her elbow. David's father picked her up and held her. Then he put a special giant bandage on her elbow. Julie said, "Well, David, you do have a very nice father after all, but he is still kind of scary." "You think he's scary?" said David. "Wait till you meet my grandmother." Oh my goodness. Whose leg is that? Is it a picture of the guy who wrote the words with his kids and the other guy who drew the pictures? That book is so silly. I love it. Thanks for reading with me. Bye.